Galaxy Buds 3 Pro are finally here at SamMobile, and we've kind of had a few days with them to sort of see what they're about. Daniel here from SamMobile TV. This is our full review of the Galaxy Buds 3 Pro. So after the big delay in the Galaxy Buds 3 Pro, we finally have them. And I think to address the concerns that people have, it seems as if Samsung have gone back and completely sort of fixed those quality control issues that came straight out of the box. Everything I'm seeing so far is everything is pretty much perfectly controlled. The design is nice. We'll talk about that in a moment. And the buds themselves are great to use. So let's dive in and sort of see what the first couple of days has been like using the Galaxy Buds 3 Pro. Starting with the design, I think what Samsung have done here is quite clearly taken inspiration from Apple. But as you'll find out, that's not a bad thing. Samsung have really gone and just made the best buds they could in the best design that's functional for you, the consumer. I've taken them out on walks, I've worn them to the gym, I've put them in my pocket. They're a really nice sort of all-in-one design. Part of this new design too is the controls that Samsung have sort of re-engineered. With the old buds, you effectively had the surface area of the bud as the control area. Whilst that was a cool concept, you were always accidentally touching it whenever you tried to fiddle with your buds in your ear. Didn't matter what you did, you were always going to accidentally touch it. This year, Samsung have addressed that with this blade design. In this blade design existing, they've been able to take away the controls from the touchpad here and move it into the blade. And what I really like about the controls is there's a clicky button that's in there, so you're not accidentally just pressing it when you're fiddling around and moving with it. You actually have an intentional press of the button to activate the buds themselves. I just dropped the case with the buds in them. All good. It's really actually nice because you actually hear a physical click when you're pressing the touch controls, which makes it a lot easier to know you've pressed it. The controls are pretty much as they were, where a double pinch and triple pinch and single pinch, slide up and slide down for volume is a new one, which I really like. That's really convenient. So I'm happy that Samsung have made these changes with the touch controls, because when you're fiddling around with it while they're in your ears, whether you're at the gym, and you'll see that a little bit later on, it actually makes for a really easy way of using it. The lights, I get it. They're cool, but they're just like a fun thing. They're nothing too serious. You know, they light up when they're in the case. They light up when you take them out of the case. There's really no need for them other than just looks cool. And I'm cool with that. Like, aesthetically pleasing stuff is nice for me. So Samsung needed that point of difference, and the Blade Light is that. As far as fit goes, they actually have been incredibly comfortable. Part of the design that I really have appreciated about the Buds 3 Pro is that they're no fuss in your ears. They're very simple to put in and out of your ear. Simply just pick it up and put it in, and it's in. And the thing that I've noticed is that they're not putting lots of pressure whilst they're in there. They're just kind of sitting. They're very similar to the Buds 2 Pro in that they are in ear, but at the same time, they're also not digging in and sort of creating this really deep seal that sort of locks in pressure. The Buds 2 Pro did have the air vents on them, but this just feels a whole lot more comfortable. And even with both in, they don't look terrible. I think there was this big narrative about the Buds 3 Pro with this blade looking terrible, but in execution, I actually think Samsung have done a really nice job. What I really like is the angular nature of it. It's very sort of sharp in the corners and sort of squared off. It's quite distinctive compared to AirPods Pro from Apple, which I think is good because whilst they're heavily inspired, they still kind of have their own Samsung flavor about them. Okay, so I just walked out of the gym and just used the Buds 3 Pro for the first time at the gym. This is me recording on the Buds 3 Pro using the 360 mic, by the way, outside, so let me know how it sounds. What I noticed during dynamic activity is that it was pretty good, especially during the weights and sort of body exercises. I didn't notice anything in terms of them falling out. There was a couple of slippages during the bike when I was up. There's a car going past. Should be fun for you all to listen to. There's a couple of slippages when I was on the bike and I was on the climb, and you can see the intense sweating. Apologies about that. But what I really enjoyed is when I did have to adjust, like I did just then, is that because the touch area has moved, I'm not actually skipping tracks or pausing by accident. So the stem or the blade having the touch controls with an actual physical button much prefer that, even if the design is, well, something else. The design of the case is the next one that I think is quite interesting. When we look at the case, there's no denying this is an AirPods Pro case in a Samsung sort of badge, if you will. What I do appreciate though is the clear case at the top is actually kind of nice. I really like how Samsung could have put their own flavor like that, and because the design of the buds is so nice, you can see through the case and into the buds. And with the blade lights and everything like that, it kind of gives it a bit of playfulness, a bit of fun to sort of go along with that. The case too is, I like the slimmer profile of it. When we look at the case from the Buds 2 Pro, it's quite a bit thicker. So that meant putting it into little tight little pockets was actually quite a challenge. So the Buds 3 Pro being that sort of slimmer profile, albeit wider and longer, I still think works in its favor, because when you do put it into slim pockets, it actually can fit in there quite nicely, as you can see here, the difference between the two. This brings me on to sound. One thing I really kind of tried to tinker with the sound on these was just trying all of the settings, seeing what worked. And whilst I was at the gym, I kind of listened to different styles of music. I had Oasis playing because they've just announced they're coming back. And also my favorite, we're a Swiftie household, Taylor Swift. Something I noticed when I changed from Oasis to Taylor Swift was the sound was quite high pitched, and it's not about her music. It was just the sound coming out of the buds was making everything sound really like flat but high pitched. So I kind of looked in the settings and I turned 360 audio off, and immediately it sort of brought it down, gave it a bit of a deeper, richer sound. And I don't think I'll be using 360 audio going forward. As much as 360 audio is there to sort of create this immersiveness, what I noticed is that it's not really designed for music. It's definitely more for talking and movies to create that atmosphere. For music, it's awful. So don't use it for music. I set the equalizer to dynamic, and I have the high quality upscaling turned on for the 96 kilohertz or up to 96 kilohertz. And I found that's a really good sweet spot to give me incredible sound, because the sound out of these is fantastic. I've been using the Buds FE for a while, so to go from them to this, huge jump. I'm really impressed with what Samsung have done from a sound perspective out of the Buds 3 Pro. As far as battery life is concerned, well, I haven't really had a chance yet. And to be honest, I never really get a chance to push battery on Buds in general, because I'm never too far away from a charger. And because they charge in the case, it's not too big of a problem. I never really think about it. They go a week easy before I even have to think about placing them down. But they're a wireless charging case. So the convenience of having wireless charging in the case, just popping it down on a wireless charger trio, just popping it down on wireless power share, is something that I missed when I was using the Buds FE. So the fact that Samsung continued to put wireless charging in here, even with this new design, just continues the convenience factor. Now, there's some things around sort of sound and controlling of sound that I really wanted to mention here at the end. It's to do with the active noise cancellation and the adaptive sound and the ambient sound. So I just got back from my first walk with the Buds 3 Pro, and there was a couple of things that just irritated me to no end. I turned on the voice detect and the siren detect to take you from active noise cancellation to ambient sound automatically, and it lowers the volume, and it's meant to be convenient. But every time a bird flew past, or every time a car drove past, or every time I coughed, it just automatically did it, and it just lowered it volume and took me away from ANC. Very frustrating, and I turned them off because until Samsung fixes it with the software update, there's really no point in using it. So what do I think about this very obviously AirPods-inspired Galaxy Buds 3 Pro? One, I'm glad to have them. I ordered them like 5 weeks ago, so it's nice that they've now showed up and I can actually use them. And two, I didn't think I'd like this design. In fact, I was sure I wasn't going to. But in Samsung's infinite wisdom, I think all they tried to do is set out to make the best buds they could. So they kind of had to ignore the copying claims that was inevitably going to happen by adopting this design. Because everything else about this, the microphone quality, fantastic. This is normal microphone using the Galaxy Buds 3 Pro filmed in Pro Video mode. Let me know what you think, but we think it's pretty good. The call quality has been really good. Take a listen.
This is the call quality when you're taking a call using the Buds 3 Pro. This is what the other person hears, and I'm talking into the Buds 3 Pro now. I'm outside, there's construction noise going on, it sounds really good. It sounds really natural, as you heard from the microphone before it.
And the audio quality that I've been getting from this is something that I'm really enjoying. The basses are really nice. The sound is crisp and clear. And with all the settings that you can tinker with inside Galaxy Wearable, you're never going to be short of a feature that you might need. Whether that be enabling clearer voices for podcasts, whether that be 360 audio for movies and more cinematic content, whether that be eventually when it's updating and works better, the conversational modes with voice detect and siren detect that allow you to sort of conveniently switch automatically between the different modes that are on there. They're great. If you're worried about the design, don't, because I think the Galaxy Buds 3 Pro with this new design and all the new features that come with it, Samsung have pretty much nailed the experience. Make sure you hit subscribe to SamMobile TV, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks.